We are not gathered here to celebrate an achievement. We are gathered here to celebrate a new birth, a beginning of a mission. And this mission, I believe it will change our lives as young ones. It will impact our lives. Before I continue, I would like to say a brief story about myself. And I happen to be born in a village called Tunka in the Bono East. At the time of my birth, my parents were into fishing. So at the age of 5, my dad would send me to fishing, mostly in the night. I didn't know how to swim. He would tie a rope around my waist. He too at the time didn't know how to swim. So in case should I fall into the river, he would pull the rope up so that I don't get drowned. So as a child, this was the life I was living. I didn't even know there is something called education. At a point when I hear people speaking, my dad himself, the highest education or qualification he had is SHS. He couldn't even finish. So at a point in time, all I wanted was to be able to speak English. That was all I wanted. I didn't know how, but I just wanted to speak English. So at a point, my mom told my dad that he should allow me to go to school. But he wouldn't allow. And when he finally agreed, it was on a condition that we go for fishing and then come back in the morning. So after fishing in the morning, we normally go like 2 a.m. At dawn and then come back around 9. So I will start going to school on that condition. So in the village, nobody cares what time you even go. The teachers come to class probably once, twice in a week. So I started, but along the line, I had to stop because there was so much work. There wasn't anybody helping my dad. So there was so much work in the house that I had to stop and then help. Along the line, unfortunately, he got sick and he passed on. And at that time, I have about 6 siblings, and my mother was she wasn't doing anything. She was just a fishmonger, and my dad had passed on. The only thing left was the canoe and then the fishing nets. So she had decided to sell all this, and then we moved to the nearby town. So she sold everything and we moved to the nearby town. In fact, when my dad was alive, I think what I was going through was some sort of hard work. But when he passed on, it was from hard work to hardship. As a young man at the time, I was very young. At that time, I hadn't even started schooling. So she finally agreed that I enroll myself. So I started from class 2. They look at my age. So I didn't even attend nursery or kindergarten. They look at my age and say, okay, you should be in class 2. So I started, and I remember that very day, the teacher wrote something on the board, and it was the one I can remember. It was a long sentence, but I can remember THE. I couldn't write it and I couldn't pronounce it, but I was practicing, and at that time I have to do a whole lot. Even though I was young, I have to sell kerosene in the evening. I have to push truck on Mondays when markets come around. I have to go to the market, push truck, help them, just to get something to support myself in my schooling. So it wasn't easy to to actually be doing all this thing and then be going to school and looking at where I started, I didn't know anything, and I have to practice. I have to practice how to even write, ask people to teach me how to read and all that, but I wasn't having the time to focus only on this. I have to be doing all other stuff along the line. And as I moved from one class to the other, I began to pick up things. And by the grace of God, before I got to class 6, I was able to read, I was able to write, to the extent that I even became the school prefect. That was class 6. I even became the school prefect. And when I was giving so much attention to my books, there is this man I was helping at that time. He sells frozen fish. So I normally help him in the morning, then before going to school, and on weekends I accompany him to where he buys the fish. When he sees that I was giving too much attention to the books rather than the work, he asked me how much, if I knew how much going to SHS cost. How much, if I knew how much it cost. And it saddens my heart so much. It saddens my heart when I hear this. But today, to cut everything short, I did not only complete SHS and even became assistant school prefect and SU Bible study coordinator. I completed, and I am here among you in the West. When I look at my life, when I look back at my life, the terrible experiences that I have to go through, you know, the past is very important, and it can either push you into destruction or push you or serve as a source of what? Your motivation. So for me, the past has really been my motivation. And when I really look back, the odds that were against me, the things that I have to go through, and I've been able to be here at least, I am convinced that it doesn't matter what you are going through. If you can put your mind to it, you can achieve it. It is out of this that the inspiration to write this book was birthed. If it must be, it is up to you. Thank you.